Hang on. One moment. One moment. Okay. So as soon as I have the shot from the White House, I'll throw it up there. Let me also check if in the last few minutes President Trump posted on Truth Social. 5 hours ago, President Trump posted. Here's what President Trump posted on his Truth Social this morning. Maybe he'll say something about this today, even though it's not about moving the Space Command headquarters. On Truth Social, President Trump posted earlier today, Chicago is the murder capital of the world. And he said at least 54 people were shot in Chicago over the weekend. 8 people were killed. The last 2 weekends were similar. Chicago is the worst and most dangerous city in the world by far. Pritzker needs help badly. He just doesn't know it yet. I will solve the crime problem fast, just like I did in D.C. Chicago will be safe again and soon. Make America great again. So maybe he'll say something about that during his appearance. Certainly sounds like he's getting ready to maybe, send some National Guard and or federal law enforcement in there? Okay. All right, so we are waiting for the shot from the White House, which we should have quite soon, actually. Hey, quick thanks to Owl Hippie for the gift memberships. That's really nice of you. Thank you. Also, Kellen Ved. I don't know if I thanked Kellen Ved yet for being a member. Thank you. Shout out to our moderators again. Ruth Krafasi, Janet B. over there on YouTube. Thank you so much. I got that fire, Matthew Kohai 3, Sarah, and Surly Dev. Thank you. On Facebook, K. Larry Body, Margaret Riley, thanks so much. Linda Belk, Larry, Misha on X. Thanks for moderating. Coming up, President Trump's announcement about moving Space Command headquarters, but who knows what else he will talk about. Oh, thank you, Pepe. Pepe is here. Thank you, Pepe, for your support. This is extra video we have as some Jeffrey Epstein accusers meet with the House Oversight Committee today. So this is like bonus video, but it is live. Cut the BS says, I wonder if there could also be a possible name change announcement from the Department of Defense to the Department of War, as he had mentioned prior. It's an interesting thought by our viewer, Cut the BS. It's something that Trump has suggested is coming. I have not heard that's going to be announced today. Maybe they'll do, I don't know if they would do a separate announcement for that, but you never know. Interesting suggestion from Cut the BS. That thing is being moved. Then Stonky the Clown mentioned that AZ Intel said there's supposed to be a U.S. military flyover tomorrow at the White House. I don't know what's going on with that. Alert DC Is Alert DC like a public alert site? Hold on a second here. Oh, the official, here it is, Alert DC. It's the official emergency alert. Thanks for to AZ Intel, who I follow, for posting about this as well. Look at this. Alert DC, says, that's an official alert post from the city government. The U.S. military will conduct a flyover in the NCR over the White House tomorrow at 11 a.m. Why, I have no idea. I don't know if that has to do with a White House event or something else. I don't know. Oops, hold on. Let me put the live shot back up. I'm waiting for the White House shot. No White House shot yet. Soon.
Big of a difference that really was between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Now, real inflation-adjusted median savings are now at their highest level since President Trump's been in office. And inflation is tracking at just 1.9% since the president took his second term. So great accomplishments made domestically. And I think have really changed the mind of traditional Democrat voters as the Republican Party has really welcomed in labor into this populist movement of national economic security and securing the border down south, but also stopping the fentanyl trade that was right above our northern border in the great state of Canada under Justin Trudeau. I mean, it was just terrible to see this communist leadership and far left global thought really riddling the North American continent over the course of 2021 to 2025. But now, 7+ months into the administration, that all has changed. And as it was in the Reagan years, it's a new dawn in America. It's morning in America once again. And if we have cut 4 ready, Mr. Director, for that new dawn in America, it's worth highlighting a recap video on the direction we're going with all the difficulties that are out there. This future in this golden era prepared under the mantle of leadership of those right there at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
It's a new dawn in America. President Trump is delivering a golden age for American workers. Fair trade deals are fueling a resurgence in American industry. Wages for blue-collar workers are rising at the fastest rate in 6 decades. And the One Big Beautiful Bill is delivering historic tax cuts for working families. Happy Labor Day and welcome to the golden age of the American worker.
And as President Trump is about to make an announcement, stay tuned live for us, scheduled 5 minutes from now. Lots going on over the weekend, some good, some sad. We know it's this back and forth between Chicago and Illinois leadership and this attempt by Chicago mayor.
Hey, thanks to Hermit Ersatz for the gift memberships. I really appreciate that. Thank you. If you're wondering what Space Command does, on their website, it says their mission is they work with allies and partners and they plan, execute, and integrate military space power into multi-domain global operations in order to deter aggression, defend national interests, and, when necessary, defeat threats. Space Command says our competitors have demonstrated their intent to hold our space capabilities at risk. Therefore, we will always defend our national interests, deter aggression, and support our allies and partners. Should deterrence fail, the combat power generated by our command and joint force will enable us to win. They're dedicated to space superiority. Space warfighters generate the combat power to win in space. Space provides the warfighter a combat advantage from the ultimate high ground to the last tactical mile. See, it says U.S. Space Command. They call it the ultimate high ground. Oh, thanks to Kristen McConnell Gates for the Facebook stars. Thank you, Kristen. All right, we're waiting. All right, so the Trump announcement is supposed to be in a minute and a half. It may start late because I don't have any video from the White House yet. What I need to do is, hang on a moment here. Give me a moment. Just give me a moment here. I have a feeling that we're going to start late from the White House. I have my clock up, but I have a feeling we're going to start late. Hey, thank you to PZ Papa Zulu. I really appreciate your support. Yeah, we'll have the video for you. It looks like maybe, well, I don't know what's going on here. PZ Papa Zulu mentioned this story I'm seeing reported. AP reports up to 600 military lawyers will be authorized by the Pentagon to serve as temporary immigration judges, doubling their ranks. That's a new story from AP. Pete Hegseth, Defense Secretary, has approved sending up to 600 military lawyers to the Justice Department to serve as temporary immigration judges. A White House official said today that the Trump administration is looking at a variety of options to help resolve the significant backlog of immigration cases, including hiring additional judges. I got to get my clock off because clearly the clock is not going to work. Clearly it's not. Clearly it's not starting on time because it was supposed to be at 2. Let me just get rid of the clock here. Okay. So we are covering live. President Trump is going to announce that the Space Command headquarters is going to be moved to Alabama from Colorado. But, I mean, that in itself doesn't seem like the biggest story. But we're covering this for a couple reasons. First of all, because sometimes when he does these announcements, they turn into like press conferences. And he might have comments about other things or be asked about other things, and you could have big news about what else he talks about. Also, there's been a bunch of speculation running around on social media the last few days because from Wednesday to Friday of last week, President Trump did not appear in public. So, as far as I'm aware. So, there's been some speculation. Is there something wrong with his health or something? Now, he appeared this weekend, both days, I believe at his golf course, both days. But anyways, a lot of people are interested in seeing an official presidential appearance from him. So we're going to show this, going to have live footage of this, and we're going to take your comments about it after and see what he has to say. And any time now we should get the footage from the White House, but there's no footage yet. As soon as I have footage from the White House, I will put it on the screen. This is like a bonus shot we have from the House of Representatives, where the House Oversight Committee is meeting with Jeffrey Epstein accusers today. Thanks to Retro AI Unleashed for the membership. Thank you also, Diane Funstein. Oh, Diane said that President Trump is supposed to host the Polish president tomorrow. Thanks, Diane, for checking that out, for finding that out. That's what Diane says. Yes, according to a Reuters story from earlier this month, the Polish president will be at the White House for an official meeting tomorrow. So maybe that's what the flyover is for. Thanks, Diane. Let's see here. Thanks, PZ Wheats, our member. Jackball TV, thanks for the membership. Switch the channel, thank you for your support. Mish NRA, thanks for being a member. Space Cadet, thanks for being a member. The Sofon, thanks for being a member. Hey, Thorn Ravenstar, good to see you. That's so kind of you. Thanks, Thorn Ravenstar, for your support. Thanks, Thorn. Joe Webb, thanks for being a member. So the Trump announcement was scheduled for 2 p.m. It is obviously after 2 p.m. As soon as I have any footage from the White House, I will put it on the screen. J.R. Hodis says, hour late again? I hope it's not an hour late. That looks like maybe a tour group or something. Cut the BS says maybe he'll announce further sanctions against Russia. I'd be surprised if he did that when he's in, like, it seems like that would be, they'd make their own event about that. EU live coverage. Usually I get some video before the announcement starts, but that I don't even have the pre-video of the White House yet. Some viewers said they were getting lag. The stream seems fine to me. If you are having problems with the stream, please refresh. Thank you. I am not seeing any lagging on my end. Stream is fine on my end. Please refresh if you have issues. Yeah, once in a while, you know, that can happen. But just refresh. A bunch of people, and this is only on YouTube, a bunch of people on YouTube are saying it's totally fine for them. I'm watching my own feed on YouTube. It's fine for me. So I'm sorry if you're having an issue, but please refresh if you're having an issue. Yeah, all these people in the chat are saying mine is fine. So I'm sorry if you're having an issue. I think it's a YouTube thing, but there's nothing I can do. Everything looks good on my end.
This pandemic of violence throughout our major cities. And whether it's been Chicago, Illinois to Minneapolis, Minnesota, and New York City to Los Angeles, California, and really everywhere in between, it's common sense. The vice president laid it out very well in the Oval Office with President Trump and cabinet members on hand that there's a strange obsession with how things are gone about by Democrat mayors and governors, or they're simply more concerned about being anti-Trump than rather keep their cities and their states safe. Because if there's one thing that government should last and exist for, it's the general posterity. And it's the welfare of the United States as a whole. And from the federal government, its view, defending it militarily. Or locally, you go to state and local police. And you have some federal partners as well. But as we approach the September 11th anniversary, the 24th anniversary, you have to think about those things. When radios weren't dialoguing or working between departments, when there was these rivalries not known to the public, but that communication at times not happening between the NYPD, the FDNY, going up to the FBI for various reasons. And we can't ever repeat anything like that again here on the homeland. And regardless of zip code, this is what Americans truly do deserve. It's that freedom, that peace at night to sleep their head on their pillow and know that there's a bright new dawn ahead in America, celebrating this golden era. And that they can have that equal school choice, whether they're in Chicago, Illinois, to Topeka, Kansas, and really everywhere in between, whether it's the homeschooling, to a private education, to a public education, that parents know that the next generation
Hokies alum says, wonder if Trump will mention anything about the Navy buildup off the coast of Venezuela. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. We actually did a stream on that over the weekend if you didn't see it. But what I said is if Trump takes questions today, which he often does when he does appearances like this, I'm guessing he might be asked about the sizable U.S. naval force deployment off the coast of Venezuela, which President Maduro of Venezuela claims is being done to attack the Venezuelan government and attack him, attack his administration. Thank you, Slim Fozzie, for your support on Twitch. Carl Feathers, Sentient Cannabis, thank you. What is this here? I'm seeing another announcement. Hold on a moment. Give me a second here. Give me a second. Give me a moment here. I'm seeing something. Where is this? I saw a report, and I'm not seeing the actual announcement. That's weird. I don't understand. Anyways, I saw kind of an odd report about the Middle East, but I'm not seeing it be backed up. So I will keep an eye out for news from the Middle East. I'm not seeing good sourcing on it. Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel just released a statement on his X account saying among other things, now we are facing the decisive stage. I believe in you. IDF soldiers, conscripts, and reservists. I don't know that that means something as particular big is happening today with Israeli forces. All right, I'll keep an eye out for that. You know, Israel has been planning on doing a major offensive on Gaza City. I have not seen specific announcement about the timing of this other than it was supposed to be at 2. I have not seen specifics. I will say Fox News says soon. CNN says any moment. Thank you, John Payne. John, I am showing this video is just a bonus video. The speech is at the Oval Office. As I said earlier, this is a bonus video because the House Oversight Committee is meeting with Jeffrey Epstein victims today. So while we wait for the video from the White House, I have this on because we may see something on this video related to Jeffrey Epstein. So that's why I have this on. This is a bonus coverage while we wait for the Trump administration. Guys, if you are having any issues with the feed, please, on YouTube, please refresh. Usually refreshing on YouTube fixes the issues. Oh, thank you also to Fred Flintstone for the gift memberships. That's very nice of you, Fred Flintstone. Yeah, I'm confused. Hector Delgado sent me this, our viewer. I saw it elsewhere too. ABC News posted 10 minutes ago that an IDF official said Israel has begun its ground operation in Gaza City. The thing is, I haven't seen that reported anywhere else. So I'm a little confused about that ABC News report. I mean, I've been checking Israeli sources, and I don't see it from them. So I'm kind of confused. Also, you know, beginning the ground operation in Gaza City could mean a lot of things. You could send in some advance force to do a little something or other, and that could be considered the start of the operation. So I'm iffy on that report right now until I hear more. Because I haven't seen it anywhere else. It is 2:15. We do not yet have the video from the White House. Now, the last time we covered something from the White House, when was it? Last Tuesday? What was the thing we covered that started an hour late? Or over an hour late? Oh no, that was the cabinet meeting. The cabinet meeting was last Tuesday, and that started over an hour late. So I'm hoping it's not an hour late. Hey, can I just ask people on YouTube? I'm not seeing people complain about this anywhere else. Some of the viewers on YouTube say there's an audio issue. Can I just ask, is everyone having an audio issue? Because most people are not complaining about an audio issue. So if you're not all having an audio issue, then yeah, a lot of people are saying no issues. So given that for some people it's fine, there's nothing I can do about it. Because if it was an issue with the actual broadcast, you would all be having it. And so many people are posting in different platforms, no audio issue, audio is fine. So again, if you are having a problem, please refresh. There are plenty of people who say it's all good. Thank you. Oh, Chad Pergram from Fox says Epstein victims are now arriving at Capitol Hill to meet with lawmakers, okay? So that's an update from Chad Pergram from Fox. Epstein victims are now arriving on Capitol Hill to meet with lawmakers. That's why this camera's there. Still no video from the White House. Ooh, what is this? Hold on a second here. Why is that on? Hang on. We might be getting you videos soon. Just give me a moment here. I'm hoping to get an early shot from the White House. I think I might have one soon. Hey, thank you, Hermit. Ersatz. Hermit says sometimes when there are a lot of viewers on YouTube, he gets issues on YouTube and he needs to refresh. I should ask YouTube about that. I have Reuters is supposed to have a White House feed. AFP is supposed to have a White House feed. Neither of those is live yet. A number of our viewers have expressed interests in seeing how Trump is doing health-wise. I have heard no reports that he is having any health issues. And nothing new. Yeah, there's an odd story. ABC, about 15 minutes ago, ABC News claimed that ABC News posted a story 15 minutes ago claiming that an IDF official said Israel has begun its ground operation in Gaza City. I've seen no announcement from the IDF saying that. I also have not seen it in Israeli reporting. I'll let you know if I hear anything. I'm just not seeing it. Thanks Storming Art, who says the health rumors about Trump come from rumors. Health issues come from rumors on social media, not from any actual source. Hey, let me show you this story that's being reported about the... this is something that Trump might be asked about today if he takes questions. Look at this. AP reports Pentagon authorizes up to 600 military lawyers to serve as temporary immigration judges. Defense Secretary Hegseth has approved sending up to 600 military lawyers to the Justice Department to serve as temporary immigration judges. According to a memo reviewed by AP, the military will begin sending groups of 150 attorneys, both military and civilians, to the Justice Department as soon as practicable. And the military services should have the first round of people identified by next week, said the memo. Immigration courts are dealing with a massive backlog of roughly 3.5 million cases. However, numerous immigration judges have been fired or left voluntarily after taking deferred resignations offered by the administration, according to their union. Now, I don't know if there's any kind of issue with putting military judges who don't normally do immigration cases and making them into immigration judges. That's beyond my level of knowledge, whether there might be any kind of issue with that. Uh-oh. Hold on a second here. Everything's under control. I just have to be ready to get you the footage when I get it for you. There's still no live shot from the White House yet. Still no live shot from the White House. That is what we are waiting for. The announcement was scheduled for 2. It is now 2:24 p.m. I am just getting ready to show you what's happening. Lori Fry Duncan says, running late, aren't they? Yes. I'm not seeing any updates about the timing of this. I'm looking. Thank you to, by the way, Mitchell Pilot. Yeah, Mitchell Pilot, I mentioned that report earlier. I find no other mention of that report about Israel from ABC News. So I don't really, I'm skeptical. Thank you, Mitchell Pilot. I appreciate it. Thank you, Storming Art as well. Librac Productions, thanks for the membership. Catherine McGraw, thank you. John Payne, thank you. History Honk and Lana are members. Crypto King, thank you. John Stevens. Also, shout out to our Facebook subscribers like Chuck Mosca, Sharon Klassen Goslin, Kay Lowry Body, Margaret Riley. Oh, Paul Anderson's moderating as well. Kristen McConnell Gates, thanks for subscribing over there. Also thanks to Avi Wersh on Twitch and Haunted Wind on Twitch. And Secor on Twitch. A lot of people want to see Trump appear today. We will see him soon. Axios is reporting that President Trump said in an interview today that his administration will seek an immediate hearing from the Supreme Court on last week's appeals court decision that said most of his tariffs were illegal. So we covered that last week. An appeals court, a U.S. appeals court, ruled that most of the Trump tariffs are illegal. And now that is expected to go to the Supreme Court. Well, President Trump said in an interview today, according to Axios, that the Trump administration will seek an immediate hearing from the Supreme Court. He calls the situation an emergency. All right, it is 2:28 p.m. We still do not have a shot from the White House. A lot of time. I mean, the reported topic of this announcement is that Trump is going to announce that Space Command is moving from Colorado to Alabama. But very often he takes other questions and talks about other things. So I would expect, given that they're making an appearance out of it, that he'll talk about other things. I haven't seen any announcement that it was moved. Space Fraggle thinks Trump will not attack Venezuela, just a distraction. Oh, I got an update from the pool. Thanks, Kelly Chandler, for reminding me to check the pool report. So the White House pool reporter, Michael A. Wilner, said, now, as of 14 minutes ago, the White House pool reporter said, the White House has not officially called your pool to gather or informed us of a change of schedule, but we are nevertheless gathered at the press room doors for the president's announcement, which was scheduled for 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So at the last update from the White House press pool is the White House has not, from 14 minutes ago, is the White House has not officially called for your pool to gather or informed us of a change to the schedule. So what the pool is, it's a smaller group of reporters that covers events in the White House and then shares that reporting with other news outlets because if they can't let everybody in. So the White House pool is a smaller group of reporters. They have cover stuff at the White House at all times. So in the Oval Office, there'll be, there's a designated pool reporter too, who sends out these White House pool reports to everyone. I don't know if technically the pool on a day like today is one people or several people. I don't know. But there's at least one there today, Michael Wilner, whose responsibility is to report to everyone about what he has seen, if I have that right. But again, that's the latest I've seen from him. And he said there was no change of schedule announced. I know presidential events often start late. I don't know, because last Tuesday when we covered the cabinet meeting, that started over an hour late, and this is going to start late. I don't know if they were usually this late the first part of Trump's second term. I feel like they're maybe getting later as we go forward. I just don't remember them being this late the first few months of the term. Uncle Bob, this is President Trump who will be speaking. What is this guy saying? This is, again, we're looking at a camera from the U.S. House.
What's up, Big Mike?
This is like a bonus camera. But President Trump is speaking at the White House.
It's always one of my favorite stakeouts. Father Damien, really? That was his deal?
Yeah, all for impeachment and stuff. And the tours would come by, and then he would start telling you about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
3 Catholic priests have statues.
Yeah.
Father Damien,
Yeah.
Inipro Sarah,
Oh, right.
and then the guy right at Will Rogers is Joliet, I think. What's his name? No, guy who discovered the Mississippi, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of our viewers asked, so I mentioned before that an official D.C. Alert account said there's going to be a White House flyover tomorrow at 11 a.m. And one of our viewers, Diane Funstein, had mentioned that it was reported that the Polish president is supposed to be at the White House tomorrow for a visit. So, and that's supposed, the flyover is supposed to be, I think, at 11 a.m. But one of our viewers, Just Data, said, is the flyover happening during the Epstein victim testimony? There's supposed to be an Epstein accuser press conference at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow, which I'm planning on covering. So maybe the flyover will happen during the press conference. I don't know.
Southern Florida. And it's August, and the temperature, it's 89-degree water temperature. You're in there 10
It is 2:34 p.m. The announcement was supposed to be at 2 p.m. I have not
starts to equalize, so that's what happens down there, man. I'm fine. But after a few hours,
heard anything specific
well, is it? Yeah.
uh,
How long do you guys
about scheduling changes.
for? Who's meeting? Oh. Go ahead.
Fox News is still saying soon.
Is John Roberts at work? Someone asked me. He was in the hospital with malaria. Malaria. This is like 1923. Yeah.
Hold on.
How do you get malaria?
I do have for you, I do have a view of the White House. Hey guys, let's switch to a live shot of the White House. Are you ready for a live shot of the White House? This is the White House. It's live from Reuters. That is live. Now, this feed will also have Trump's announcement on it. This feed. All right, so again, you are looking at the White House. At least I got you the White House. I don't see Trump in the picture. Still looking. I haven't listened to it. President Trump I believe, is made an appearance on the Scott Jennings radio show today, which I have not heard yet. I should listen. It's playing right now. I can't play it. Nandita Bose of Reuters said his voice sounded a bit rough on the interview. I'm going to listen on my phone for a second. I have to mute it, though. I don't own the rights to the Scott Jennings show. But let me see if I can listen to it for 2 seconds here. I'll mute myself for a second. Hold on. I'm going to mute myself and listen. I just listened to it for about 5 seconds. I don't really know that it sounds any more rough than normal. Is there any chance this Scott Jennings interview is live? So Scott Jennings right now has on his X account, it's the Scott Jennings radio show. Now, the interview is playing, but I would assume this was recorded earlier. I can't imagine he's doing this interview right now. I didn't hear the start of it. I'll post the link to the interview. Again, my guess is that the interview with Scott Jennings would have been done earlier today. I didn't hear it, so I'm not sure. No, this is you're looking at a live shot of the White House, and this feed will actually have the announcement on it. The Trump announcement has not started. Numerous outlets today reported that Trump today will announce the Space Command headquarters is moving. And on a Pentagon website, they even had there earlier today that the announcement was about the moving of the Space Command headquarters. Will he announce something else? I don't know. It is now 2:40 p.m. The announcement was supposed to be at 2. There has been no announcement about a schedule change. There has been no update from the White House press pool, which said about 25 minutes ago that they had not heard anything about a schedule change. Okay, where is that? Hold on a second. Oh, the White House went live. The White House went live. The White House stream just went live. Okay, that's something to keep an eye out for. Give me a second here. Let me do this. Let me do this. The White House feed is live, but it's not showing anything. It's also a spinning circle. Hey guys, the White House feed is a spinning circle. Usually the White House goes live and there's a graphic that says coming soon or starting soon. Right now, the White House feed is just, it says we will begin shortly. President Trump makes an announcement. I should get footage before. Hold on. All right, hang on a moment. Let me just show you this. Let me show you this. I'm putting it on the screen for you right now. There. We will begin shortly. Maybe I'll do it this way. Look, we will begin shortly. President Trump makes an announcement. Again, widely reported that this announcement will be that the U.S. Space Command headquarters is being moved from Colorado to Alabama. So is starting an hour late the new norm now? Because the last presidential appearance he did was on Tuesday of last week, and that was the cabinet meeting, and that was over an hour late. So I wonder if this is kind of the new standard that I should expect. Callie Voltaire says fashionably late. Yes, according to AP reports that, Reuters says that Trump will announce that he will relocate U.S. Space Command headquarters from Colorado Springs, Colorado to Huntsville, Alabama. Thank you to Air Fryer for your support. Why did this happen? That just messed up. What happened here? Hold on a second. Hang on a moment. Hang on a moment. Thank you, Val Cargo and Crypto King. And Victoria Neeson, our member. I still do not have footage from the White House. I mean, inside the White House. That has not popped up. New pool report. I have a breaking update, news update for you. News update with our news update graphic. Look at that. The news update is that the White House pool says the pool has gathered 5 minutes ago and we are moving toward the Oval Office. Again, Michael Wilner, White House pool reporter, says the pool officially gathered at 2:40 Eastern Time. We are moving toward the Oval Office. I think it's really happening. It's really actually going to start. Now, just a heads up here. People get angry with me. There's a multiple feeds I have access to. So when the event starts, I will get you what I feel is the best feed for you with the video and audio. Sometimes what happens is a few seconds in, I need to switch because I got to see which one's the best. So if a couple seconds in, you briefly hear double audio, that's because I am switching to the best shot. So no need to yell at me in the chat. I am fully aware of that, but the point is to sometimes I start showing one shot and then I see, oh, that shot is way better or that audio is way better, and I switch it because I can't tell until it starts. So there might be a second or two of that while I'm switching it for you. I see somebody walking in front of the White House on the White House shot. I don't know if that's security or not. Down here. That person down here. Look, there's somebody walking. Guys, any moment now, this event is supposed to start. Katia Goba, who is with the Washington Post, just reported that a teary-eyed Representative Nancy Mace, who is a Republican in Congress, she says a teary-eyed Nancy Mace just exited the room where members are meeting with Epstein survivors. By the way, on X right now, I just noticed that, oh, hold on, there he is. There's Trump. Here's Trump right there. There he is. Hold on a second.
Every one of them.
Hold on. All right,
I
wait a
rated
second.
10.
One moment here.
I can't always
One
say that,
moment
even
here.
if they're Republicans, and these are. Well, thank you very much. Thank you all for being here for this important announcement. 7 years in the making, as you know, this has been going on for a long period of time. And I am thrilled to report that the U.S. Space Command headquarters will move to the beautiful locale of a place called Huntsville, Alabama, forever to be known from this point forward as Rocket City. Okay, so Huntsville, Alabama, we love Alabama. I only won it by about 47 points. I don't think that influenced my decision, though, right? That didn't, right? But we had a lot of competition for this, and Alabama's getting it, Huntsville in particular. So congratulations, everybody. Katie, congratulations. This will result in more than 30,000 Alabama jobs, and probably much more than that, and hundreds of millions of dollars of investment, and that's billions, because it can't be millions, it's billions and billions of dollars. Most importantly, this decision will help America defend and dominate the high frontier, as they call it. I want to thank Secretary Pete Hegseth. He's doing a fantastic job. And Secretary of the Air Force Troy Mink. Troy, thank you very much. Great job you're doing, Troy. This is such a big deal. This is one that everybody wanted to know. What are you doing? I also want to thank Senators Katie Britt, and I want to give my condolences. Your grandmother, her grandmother just passed away. She was 100, right?
100, and she loves you, Mr. President.
Well, and she was very proud of you.
Thank you very much.
Very, very proud of you. So thank you, Katie.
Wonderful woman.
She must have been. To produce you indirectly, I can tell you she had to be. Tommy Tuberville, who's a great coach. And I won't say anything about what happened with Alabama football this weekend.
Let's leave that up.
But you're not used to that, right? You're not used to that. But Tommy, Auburn won, that's right. They did. So you're happy. Tommy's been a great senator, as you know, and a fantastic guy all around. He was also a tremendous coach. House Armed Services Committee Chair Mike Rogers. Thank you, Mike. Where's Mike? Mike, thank you very much. Doing great, Mike. Representatives Barry Moore, all great friends, Robert Adderholt, Gary Palmer, and Dale Strong. Thank you all very much, fellas. Appreciate it. In my first term, I created a thing called Space Force, so important. You know, we were losing the race in space very badly to China and to Russia, and now we're far and away #1 in space, and reestablished Space Com with a mission to protect American space assets and detect any threat to our homeland. We initially selected Huntsville for the Spacecom headquarters, yet those plans were wrongfully obstructed by the Biden administration. And as you know, they moved them to a different locale. And today we're moving forward with what we want to do and the place that we want to have this. And this will be there for hopefully hundreds of years. That's where it's going to be. I will say I want to thank Colorado. The problem I have with Colorado, one of the big problems, they do mail-in voting. They went to all mail-in voting. So they have automatically crooked elections. And we can't have that. When a state is for mail-in voting, that means they want dishonest elections, because that's what that means. So that played a big factor also. In Huntsville, Spacecom will play a key role in building the Golden Dome, as you know. That's going to be a big thing. Everybody wants to be a participant in it. Missile Defense Shield, we're going to be having a Golden Dome that the likes of which nobody's ever seen before, the finest, the best. And by the way, Canada called. They want to be a part of it, and that'll be great. But Canada wants very much to be included in that, and we're going to work something out with them, I hope. It will also ensure that our technological capabilities, of which we're way ahead of anybody else, there's nobody close, remain unmatched long into the future. So I'd like to ask Secretary Hegseth to say a few words. He was very much a part of it. And really, everybody behind me was. Every one of these people would call me and lobby me. I said, Katie, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I know what you want. She said, that's right, sir. That's what I want. And they got their way. So I just want to congratulate. These are really special people. They're politicians in many ways, but they're great patriots, I think even more so than politicians. So they fought very hard to get it, and it's an honor to give it to Huntsville. Pete, say a few words, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. As usual, right place, right time, for the right reason. In your first administration, you established the Space Force at a time when we knew we had to be looking to that domain of space. You also reestablished SpaceCom to ensure that priority was put in place, and you, through the Air Force, independently identified that Huntsville, Alabama was the right place to put it. For other reasons, in the next administration, under Biden, they decided to move it somewhere else. Well, during that time, the DOD Inspector General, the Government Affairs Office, they did their own assessments, and where did they say SpaceCom should go? Huntsville, Alabama. So what you're doing today, Mr. President, is restoring it to precisely where it should be based on what the Space Force, the Air Force, your leadership believes will give us strategic advantage in the future. That is Huntsville, Alabama. We are way ahead in space, but this will ensure we stay leaps and bounds ahead because that's the most important domain. Whoever controls the skies will control the future of warfare. And Mr. President, today you're ensuring that happens. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Katie, would you like to say something?
Mr. President, we are grateful for your leadership on this and restoring Space Command to its rightful home in Huntsville, Alabama. This delegation has worked together, both chambers, both parties, to make sure that Huntsville was the place that Space Command called home. As was mentioned, obviously the Biden administration chose to make this political. What we want to do is put the safety and security of Americans first. We want to make sure that our war fighter is put first, and we want to make sure that America continues to lead. And today, Mr. President, you've allowed that to happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tommy, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. This is a great day for our country, not just for our state of Alabama. We need help in our military. We need to catch up. And as Secretary has said, we're not behind in space, but we know where we're at, and we need to expound on that. Now, this move will save the taxpayers $480 million. It's not going to cost more. It's going to cut $480 million. We have the plans intact. It'll be behind a secure wall in Huntsville, Alabama, at Redstone Arsenal. We have 40,000 people there. We have the FBI there. We have missile defense there. We have NASA, Blue Origin, and SpaceX. It is the perfect place for Space Command. I would tell you today, and I've spoke with the President for the last 3 or 4 years about this, if I thought it needed to go somewhere else because I understand the security of our country, I'd be for that. But the best place for Space Command is Huntsville, Alabama, because what we have and what it means to this country is going to be so important. So thank you, Mr. President, for this, and we look forward to building a huge Space Command and having the Donald J. Trump Space Command Center in Huntsville, Alabama.
Hear, hear. Hear, hear.
JD, would you like to say something?
Sure. Well, Mr. President, thank you. I'll be very brief here. I lobbied the President hard to put it in Ohio, but he said these people behind us, these Alabamas, are just too powerful and too persuasive, and so it's in Alabama. But as Tommy said, this is exactly the right place for Space Force and Space Command. I think Americans ought to appreciate the fact that you can't win the battle of the future unless you control the skies. The cyber security, the communications, the entire infrastructure of the battle in the 21st century will be in space. So it was a visionary move in the first administration for the President to set up Space Force, and I think an equally visionary move to make sure that Space Force is right where it should be in Huntsville, Alabama. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, anybody want to say anything? Would you like to say?
Mr. President, another promise made, another promise kept. You think about it, Redstone Arsenal is critical to national security. The President said when you were the 45th President, let's do what's right for national security. And today, that's exactly what we're doing. It's not because of this or that. It's because it's right for national security. You think of the 21 categories that were evaluated to determine what was best for national security. all indicators pointed back to Huntsville, Alabama, and Redstone Arsenal. We have the right people at the right place at the right time. Mr. President, on behalf of the people of the 5th Congressional District and all of Alabama, thank you for keeping your word. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Anybody?
Let me just say, Mr. President, I want to say thank you. And thank you for doing this because it was the right thing to do. When they looked at all the numbers, Huntsville was the place to go, and like you say, it was unfortunately pulled out, but you made it right. So I want to just say thank you again for a grateful nation, and to the state of Alabama, we're very grateful. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mike, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Throughout history, militaries has always understood that whoever could hold the high ground held the advantage. Space is the ultimate high ground. And what we're doing with moving the Space Command to Huntsville is absolutely critical to our maintaining dominance in that sphere. And it goes hand in hand with what we're trying to do with the Golden Dome and missile defense, to defend against anyone else who tries to enter that sphere. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Please. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. And obviously, national defense is a huge issue. And when you look at the scores, Alabama was #1. And for political reasons, it was moved out of our state. But Mr. President, thank you for making priorities the defense and the warfighter and the safety of this nation. And in the big, beautiful bill, that Golden Dome will be built in Huntsville, Alabama, and we're grateful for that. Thank you.
Listen, as chairman of the Armed Services Committee, I care very much about what's most important for our national security. And the President held a nationwide competition to determine where we should have this command. If y'all remember, at the end of that competition, where Alabama came in first, there was a lot of complaints from the other states who did not place well. He said, we'll do it over with new criteria to accommodate your concerns. Alabama came in first in that second competition. His Secretary of the Air Force reviewed the results, said it was fair, and the President named Huntsville. It was the Biden administration that decided to make it political, even though his own Secretary of the Air Force said it was a fair competition and it should be in Huntsville. So I want you to know I appreciate this President standing up and being strong and saying he's going to make this right and put it where it rightfully belongs, and that's Huntsville, Alabama.
Thank you very much. Good job. So thank you all very much. You are going to leave me alone now. You're not going to call me anymore and talk about this subject, right? You promise? They'll start something else. But I just want to congratulate you. It's a very big deal. When you come out and when you leave the room, you'll see that we just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat. And you'll be seeing that and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago, and our great general, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who's been so incredible, including what took place in Iran, knocking out potential nuclear power for a long time to come. I think within a month they would have had it if we didn't do what we did. But he gave us a little bit of a briefing, and you'll see. And there's more where that came from. We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just, these came out of Venezuela and coming out very heavily from Venezuela. A lot of things are coming out of Venezuela. So we took it out, and you'll get to see that after this meeting is over. Do you have any questions, please? Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Tuberville talked about the cost savings associated with this announcement. Can you talk about the strategic benefits by having Space Force Command headquartered in Huntsville?
Well, it just works because we have so much else there. And having a central, you could call it a central command, but it really is a command station. Also, even locationally, where it is, and when you think about flying distances, if you can save a half an hour as fast as some of these planes go and things go, and even the rockets go, if you can save by having the best location. So we went out, as you know, to experts, and we had 4 different groups of experts. They all said this was the best location. I also loved it from the standpoint, I know the people of Alabama, they are great people, work hard, and there's no games, and they're very proud of it. And I would say they fought harder for it than anybody else also. A lot of states, 5 states really wanted it, but they wanted it more. And I kid you not when I say that these people They spoke to me a lot. That's all they wanted to talk about. They didn't want to talk about the weather. They only wanted to talk about moving to this location, moving to Alabama, Huntsville in particular. So we're honored to do it. They really wanted it badly, and they got it. Peter?
President Trump, something completely different, but about a big viral social media trend over the weekend. How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see you for a couple days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really? I didn't see that. You know, I have heard, it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said, there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him, and we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. No, I heard that. I get reports. Now, you knew I did an interview that lasted for about an hour and a half with somebody, and everybody saw that was on one of your competitors. I did numerous shows and also did a number of truths, long truths, and I think pretty poignant truths. No, I was very active over the weekend. They also knew I went out to visit some people at the club that I own, pretty nearby on the Potomac River. And no, I've been very active actually over the weekend. I didn't hear that one. That's pretty serious.
I'm glad it's
well, it's fake news. You know, it's just it's so fake. That's why the media has so little credibility. I knew they were saying, like, is he okay? How's he feeling? What's wrong? I said, I just left. And it's also sort of a longer weekend, you know, it's Labor Day weekend. So I would say a lot of people know I was very active this Labor Day. I had heard that, but I didn't hear it to that extent. Go ahead, Peter.
something else. We know that this country has a huge problem with school shootings. You've said that you're open to sending the National Guard pretty much anywhere. Would you ever consider sending an armed National Guardsman to every school?
Well, we have a big problem with school shooting, but we also have thousands and thousands of schools that run perfectly. You know, they talk about you can do things construction-wise, and that's really, I think nobody knows more about construction than me. You can build the construction doors. You can build what they call safety doors, where they lock on the outside, the inside, and every place else. Well, but if one of these lunatics happens to get through, then the police can't get in. Then they're looking for keys all over the place, and it takes a lot of disadvantages to doing, you know, spending billions and billions of dollars and actually making it safer in some way for some of these lunatics that we're dealing with. But I don't think so. I've thrown out the concept. We have great teachers that love our children. The parents love the children. Teachers love the children too. And if you took a small percentage of those teachers that were in the military, that were distinguished in the military, that were in the National Guard, et cetera, and you let them carry. That's something that a lot of people like. I sort of liked it. It'd have to be studied, but they're trained. They know about weapons. You can't do it with every teacher because most teachers don't know, and you know. But I always thought that would be an alternative. But it just we've had a lot of instances. Other countries have also. They have different kinds of problems than we have, but we do have. There's something going on. And it's a bad thing. Yes, please.
Have you spoken with President Putin in the past week? Have you spoken with President Putin in the past week?
Yeah, I don't want to. I have learned things that will be very interesting. I think in the next few days you'll find out.
Consequences if there isn't some type of announcement of a meeting with President Putin and President Zelensky? And what could those consequences be?
We're going to see what happens. We're going to see what they do and what happens. I'm watching it very closely. Last week they lost 7,000, between the two countries, 7,313 soldiers, to be somewhat exact, for no reason whatsoever. And they're Russian and they're Ukrainian, but, you know, they're soldiers. I want to see it end. Yeah.
Mr. President, have you decided you're definitely going to send National Guard troops to Chicago?
I didn't say when, but the answer is, look, Chicago's very interesting because I watched Pritzker get up and say about, we don't need help, we're safe. But 2 weeks ago, they had 6 people murdered, and they had 24 people hit by bullets. Last week, as you know, it was 7 people, 24 people hit, and 7 people died. And then over the last 2 days, that was the crown jewel. They had, I guess, 9 or 10 killed, and 50 hit with bullets. And you have this governor get up, who's a terrible governor. Probably he and Gavin Newsom would be probably the two worst and most naive. They're naive. Either they're naive or they're very untruthful. And he'll say, we don't want any protection. We don't need. So in the last 3 weeks, he's lost almost 20 people killed. There's no place in the world, including you can go to Afghanistan, you can go to places that you would think of. They don't even come close to this. Chicago is a hellhole right now. Baltimore is a hellhole right now. Parts of Los Angeles are terrible. If we didn't put out the fires, and I mean the other fires, the bullet fires, they didn't do a good job with, they should have had the water coming down, like I said. You know, we had to release the water. We had to go in and release the water to L.A. It's so badly run. But if I didn't send the National Guard into Los Angeles, I would be making an announcement today. I'd be talking about Huntsville, and I'd simultaneously be saying, by the way, the Olympics is not coming to Los Angeles. If we didn't do that, and even the sheriff, the top law enforcement person in Los Angeles said, we could not have handled it without them. So that's what he said.
Make your mind up on Chicago, though?
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in. When you lose, look, I have an obligation. This isn't a political thing. I have an obligation. When we lose, when 20 people are killed over the last 2.5 weeks, and 75 are shot with bullets. So let me tell you a little story about a place called D.C., District of Columbia, right here where we are. It's now a safe zone. We have no crime. It's in such great shape. You can go and actually walk with your children, your wife, your husband. You can walk right down the middle of the street. You're not going to be shot, Peter. You're safe. Everyone likes you anyway. They probably wouldn't do it. But it's so dangerous. And there are people in this audience that you've suffered greatly. There are people in this audience that have been mugged and hurt badly, and they don't want to talk about it. Maybe you were very brave in talking about it. You made quite an impression on a lot of people. I appreciate it. But there were other people in this room that have been hurt very badly just walking down the street in D.C. Washington, D.C. is a safe zone right now. It's a safe city. The restaurants are open. They're booming. You can't get a restaurant. New restaurants are announcing that they're going to be open. This took place in 12 days. Now it's 15 days, but 3 days ago it became what's known as a safe zone. It's a safe city. And this city was really bad, really, really bad. We took 1,600 people out, hardcore criminals that will not be coming back anytime soon. And we're very proud of it. You know, to have our nation's capital lose every week. You know, it was like years, many years, where every single week somebody was killed for many, many, many consecutive weeks. This went on for years. And then we had, last week it was announced that nobody was killed last week. And I made that announcement in front of a very distinguished leader of a country. And I'm saying proudly, ladies and gentlemen, nobody was killed in Washington, D.C. this week. He looked at me like, what's that all about? I say, yeah, we have a little bit of a crime problem. And we don't have a crime problem in Washington anymore. And the mayor has been very helpful, and the police commission has been very helpful, and it's been a great team. And I would love to have Governor Pritzker call me. I'd gain respect for him and say, we do have a problem, and we'd love you to send in the troops, because you know what? The people, they have to be protected. I saw today on one of your networks, not a friendly network, except really the opposite, I would say, very unfriendly network. And they interviewed about 12 people on this morning. Most of them were African American, they were black. And they were saying, please, please, please let the president send in. These were people from Chicago. Please, we need help. We need help. We can't walk outside. We're petrified. If the governor of Illinois would call me up, I would love to do it. Now, we're going to do it anyway. We have the right to do it because I have an obligation to protect this country. And that includes Baltimore. I saw where Governor Moore was asking me to take a walk down the street of Baltimore. Well, Baltimore is a very unsafe place. It's rated number 4 in the city, one of the most unsafe places anywhere in the world. But, you know, we took care. This was a beautiful thing that happened in Washington because we showed that it could be done. And this wasn't just sending big, strong guys, and they are big and they are strong. You know, we had a great decision from the Supreme Court that had to do with sort of talent. It had to do with you are put down based on merit. You can hire based on merit. So merit for a soldier or for a policeman is strong, physically fit, having a certain ability, not a person that is woke and got the job through woke, but wasn't strong enough to lift a gun out of the holster, et cetera, et cetera. No, I looked at the police. As you know, last week I went over, we had a meeting there had to be 300 people, and they were all very impressive looking. And when the bad guys see them, they're not going to do a thing. And so I'm very proud of Washington. It serves as a template, and we're going to do it elsewhere. But Chicago is certainly going to be high. I would love to have him call. I would love the governor of Illinois. I'd be honored to take his call. All he has to do is say, sir, we need help. It's out of control. And everyone knows it is. He's not kidding anyone. I would love to have, I would say, Governor Moore call, because I watched him over the weekend trying to explain that Baltimore, what they need is housing. No, they don't need housing. They need to get rid of the criminals. These are hardcore criminals. You know, we took many people off the streets of Washington, D.C. They're hardcore. They're not going to be good. In 10 years, in 20 years, in 2 years, they're going to be criminals. They were born to be criminals, frankly. They were born to be criminals, and they're tough and mean, and they'll cut your throat, and they won't even think about it the next day. They won't even remember that they did it. And we're not going to have those people. Washington, D.C. is now a safe zone. It's a safe place. And you can walk, Katie, you can walk right down the street with, by the way, one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen, which is her husband. He was a football player for like 11 years in the NFL. He's a big person. But big doesn't mean anything when they have guns and when they have knives and everything else that they have, right? But you can walk right down the street, even by yourself, and you're totally safe. Washington, D.C. is a great thing. Yes, ma'am, please.
Mr. President, as you're calling on Democratic leaders across the country to work with you on crime, do you see your efforts here in D.C., including, for example, working with Mayor Bowser here as a model for bringing more bipartisanship in matters not only with crime, but also issues that matter to everyday American people's lives?
So Mayor Bowser's been great. She could have taken the thing, oh, well, and then after I clean it up, they'll take credit for it. You know what they do is they take credit. Like, we cleaned up Los Angeles. We did a great job there. And it was overwhelming what was going on. And again, the police chief made a statement that we could not have done, there's no way they could handle it. You saw what was happening out there. It was going to be a disaster. We stopped it cold. If we didn't do that, would have been a very sad day. And, you know, remember, we have the Olympics, we have the World Cup, we have all these things coming, and we have 250, all of these things coming. But I watched Newsom get up and say he's doing a great, he's not, we're the ones that did it, and that's okay, whatever it takes. But the main thing is, but he got up and said, we did it. Well, he didn't want us there, and he's going to need us again because it's starting to form again. I see it. It's starting to form again. You know, we have to maintain. It's like maintenance on an airplane. You can buy it, but you have to maintain it. And if you don't maintain it, a good plane becomes very unsafe very quickly. So it's an honor to do it. It's a lot of presidents wouldn't do what I'm doing. I don't need this heat. But when I watched television last night and I'm watching the news and I see that 9 people were killed in Chicago and 54 were badly wounded with bullets, I say, that's not this country. We have to do something. And I do say this, I say this very much. I'm not speaking to anybody but them right now. I would love to receive calls from governors and mayors saying they need help. We'll help them. We have a lot of people. We have a great force. We have a great military force. You know, Pete will tell you that when I was running for office, and this was a big headline, I think, you know, probably got me a couple of votes, but you couldn't sign people in the military. Nobody wanted to join the military, the Army, Air Force, the Navy, Marine, Space Force, Coast Guard. We never forget Coast Guard because they've done such a great job. Never. But nobody wanted to join any of them. We were way below what we wanted. Every single one. The closest was the Marines, whatever that is. You'll explain that to me. But the closest was the Marines. But every service was way down, way down. And then I got elected, and our country's the hottest country anywhere in the world right now. Everybody's talking about the USA. They're talking about the job that we're doing. Everybody. We have the best economy. We have a very, very important decision being made by the Supreme Court because our country is the richest, the strongest, the most powerful. But if for some reason some liberal court, I'm talking about the court that just ruled, where even an Obama judge voted in favor of us, which I gave him a compliment yesterday, as you know. I said that took great courage. But it's a liberal court, and it's going up to the Supreme Court, who I think have been incredible people. I think they've made very wise decisions. But the tariff question, because without the tariffs, this country is in serious, serious trouble. We've taken in almost $17 trillion of investment is coming in. Most of it is coming because of tariffs. And if for some reason somebody wanted to be politically correct, I actually think it's unpolitically correct. I think politically correct is to approve it because there's nothing so popular as what's happened to our country. Our country is doing so well. But we had a liberal court gave us a very shocking ruling, and that ruling is basically saying that the trillions of dollars that are pouring into our country, putting us in a position like no country is anywhere in the world, that they'd like to see us that taken away. By the way, a lot of the people behind that lawsuit, that particular, are from foreign countries. I might add.
There's a video that is circulating online now of the White House where a window is open to the residents upstairs and somebody is throwing a big bag out the window. Have you seen this?
No, that's probably AI generated.
So
Actually, you can't open the windows. You know why? They're all heavily armored and bulletproof.
So that's a fake video?
Well, it's got to be because I know every window up there. The last place I'd be doing it is that because there's cameras all over the place, right, including yours. No, but every window, I've never seen a window that's, in fact, my wife was complaining about it the other day. She said, love to have a little fresh air come in, but you can't. They're bulletproof. And number one, they're sealed. And number two, each window weighs about 600 pounds. You have to be pretty strong to open them up. No, that has to be, where was the window? Let me see.
Maybe from the renovations.
Which is the window?
It looks like this is on the 15th Street side, I think. Yeah. So right here.
Yeah, those windows are sealed. Those windows are they're all sealed. You can't open them.
You were saying regarding the federal.
It's the kind of thing they do. And one of the problems we have with AI, it's both good and bad. If something happens really bad, just blame AI. But also they create things, you know. It works both ways. If something happens that's really bad, maybe I'll have to just blame AI. But there's truth to it because I see so many phony things. I saw something as I was growing up from the time I was a baby till now. I said, who did that? It was AI generated. So it's a little bit scary, to be honest with you. But those windows are all very heavily sealed.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to follow up with what you were saying regarding that federal appellate court that ruled against you and your administration as it relates to your ability.
Well, they ruled against our country, the court, and they ruled against us before. It's a very liberal court.
You called it highly partisan in your
Well, it
social
certainly
media
is. It certainly
and
is.
in fact, it was along ideological lines, 7-4.
Well, except that we actually got one of the Obama judges that was appointed by President Obama voted in favor of the tariffs because he felt it was imperative for our country to thrive and survive even. And I gave him credit. I said, you know what? That took a lot of courage for him to do it because you don't see that often.
So my question is, I suspect you're going to appeal that all the way to the Supreme Court.
Well, we already have, yeah. In fact, we're doing something else. We're going to be going to the Supreme Court, we think, tomorrow because we need an early decision. I mean, look, the financial fabric of our country, we're a rich, incredible country right now. And we're able to, you know, other countries use tariffs on us for years, and we never did. I did a lot during my first term, but then we had COVID and we had to focus on other things. You couldn't be tariffing Italy, Spain, France as they were dying by the thousands and millions. But we did with China, and China paid us billions and billions of dollars. And I started the process, but then I had to end it a little bit because of COVID. We focused on that. But no, it's a very important decision. And frankly, if they make the wrong decision, it would be a devastation for our country. We've taken in trillions of dollars. And by the way, all these countries signed agreements. As an example, they're all happy. Everybody's happy. But some whack job put in a lawsuit. It went before a very liberal court, and the liberal court ruled, it was 11, they ruled 7-4, with one of the most liberal of them all voting in our favor because they're patriots. I think I give tremendous credit to that judge. And now it's going to the Supreme Court. Now we're going to be asking for early admittance. We're going tomorrow, and we're going to ask for an expedited ruling because, you know, when you look at the stock market's down today, the stock market's down because of that, because the stock market needs the tariffs. They want the tariffs. If you look at AI, all of those, you know, all of that money that's going to be invested, trillions and trillions of dollars, the biggest thing, bigger than the internet, I suspect. It's the internet plus 3 or 4 other things combined. We are leading very substantially with AI. We're leading because of tariffs. We're leading because of talent, and this is where they'd like to be. But without the tariffs, we wouldn't have a chance because we wouldn't be able to protect those investments of the companies coming in. So if you took away tariffs, we could end up being a third world country. That's how big the ruling. So we're asking for an expedited ruling.
As a backstop to that, President, you have a Republican-controlled Congress. You control the House. You control the Senate.
Yeah, but we don't have 60 votes. We don't have 60 votes. I'd love to do that. Oh, if we had 60 senators, if we got the 60 votes, we would get them. But we need 60 votes, and we need, you know, a certain number in the House. I think we'd get, I don't know, we have about 5 of them here. Would everybody agree with me on tariffs? Without tariffs, we're a different country. We have taken in so much money. And here's the thing. We signed a deal with Japan. They're paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. We signed a deal with South Korea. We signed a deal with the European Union. We signed a deal with Europe. And those countries are paying us $950 billion. And they're happy about it. They're okay. As one of them said, it's amazing that we got away with it so long. One of my friends, a leader of one of the countries, and they're fine with it. They all signed. If that ruling ever went against us, I guess we'd have to give back hundreds of billions. We would have to give trillions and trillions of dollars back to countries that have been ripping us off for the last 35 years. And I can't imagine it happening. On a legal basis, they have no legal basis whatsoever. But on a common sense basis, it would destroy America. Okay.
You talked about controlling the sky. On Sunday, the satellite signal of Ursula von der Leyen's plane was alleged.
With Ursula? Well, she had an interesting event. She's a tremendous woman. And so what are you asking me about her?
NATO is concerned about the attitude about this.
True, NATO is concerned about it. Well, nobody knows where it came from, but they did take away her ability to use a phone. You know? Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that could happen to me. I'd be very happy.
Mr. President, reducing the tariffs on India from 50%.
What does that mean?
Are you considering taking away some of the tariffs that you've imposed on India?
No, we get along with India very well. But India has, you have to understand, for many years it was a one-sided relationship. Only now since I came along, and because of the power that we have with tariffs, India was charging us tremendous tariffs, about the highest in the world. They were about the highest in the world, number one. And we, therefore, weren't doing much business with India, but they were doing business with us because we weren't charging them. Foolishly, we weren't charging them. So they would send in massive, you know, everything they made, they'd send it in, pour it into our country. Therefore, it wouldn't be made here, you know, which is a negative. But we would not send in anything because they were charging us 100% tariffs. And, you know, I'll give you an example. Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson couldn't sell into India. There was a 200% tariff on a motorcycle. So what happens? Harley Davidson went to India and built a motorcycle plant. and now they don't have to pay tariffs. Same thing as us. So what we're doing is literally thousands of companies are coming into the U.S., car companies, AI, but, you know, more traditionally car companies. We have so many car company factories under construction or being designed right now. And they're coming from China, they're coming from Mexico, I must tell you, and they're coming from Canada, a lot of them coming from Canada. But they're coming into our country because they want to build here. And they want to build here for two reasons. Number one, they'd like to be here. And number two, the tariffs are protecting them. And number three, they want to avoid paying tariffs. When they build their cars here, they don't have any tariffs to pay. You know, when you build here, you don't have any tariffs.
Mr. President,
Go ahead,
in light of the Minnesota shooting last week, the Department of Homeland Security is now awarding more than $100 million to hundreds of faith organizations across the country to help them ramp up security. What's your vision for further protecting religious liberty across the country amid incidents of threats and violence?
Religious liberty is so important, and we're talking about every religion now, and we're doing things on that nobody else has ever done, and we're going to be having a big announcement in about 2 weeks on that question. Yeah, please.
On Space Command, sir, are you concerned that people may not be willing to relocate from Colorado to Alabama?
No, I'm not worried. It will get somebody else. I mean, the problem with Colorado is they have a very corrupt voting system. Look, I have so many friends in Colorado. Anytime you have mail-in voting, you have corrupt elections. Very simple. It's very simple. Even Jimmy Carter said it with his commission. They set up a commission with him and Scoop Jackson and some people, highly regarded people. And they said the finding was, if you have mail-in voting, you will have corrupt elections. Well, your radical left governor decided that he was going to have all mail-in voting in Colorado. Once you have all mail-in voting, and for whatever reason, the Democrats cheat. And they cheat like, you know, they're not stupid. That's the only thing. They're no good on policy. They're no good on management. They're no good at government. But they're great at cheating. And they stick together, too. I give them credit for sticking together. Please.
Obviously, this is a big win for national security, moving this to Alabama. We've all can agree with that.
Big.
Is there any idea of the economic impact this has on the state and on that local area?
Katie, do you want to answer that?
Look, I mean, go ahead.
Please go.
This is going to be tremendous. I mean, the state of Alabama, what we've seen through this process is the worst of Washington. We've seen politics get in the way of what is best for the warfighter, what's best for national security. And the state of Alabama is about to show the country the best among us. So we know the economic impact is going to be tremendous. There at Redstone Arsenal, we're proud to house everything from the FBI to headquarters there for material command to a number of things. We obviously have NASA with Marshall Space Flight Center, and so this naturally fits within. When you look at the decision matrix that they placed in front of us, that's why we ranked so high, is because we have the resources necessary and the ability to build out quickly to meet the needs in front of us. As far as economic impact, it would be tremendous. Does anybody have an exact number? 1,600 jobs.
3,000 spinoff.
With 3,000 spinoff. Look at this. This is teamwork right here. So we are really proud, and the people of Alabama are ready to get to work.
And I've got a housing question, if you could, just for a second, Mr.
Yeah,
President.
please.
Owning a home and going about the American dream seems like it's out of touch for a lot of Americans. Just recently, you pushed out a statement about addressing an emergency housing situation.
That's right. We're thinking about doing that.
Yeah, can you just...
Well, we need a little help from the Fed. We have a man named Jerome Too Late Powell. You probably heard of him. He's too late. He's way too late. And the economy is so strong that it's pushing through that. Normally, it would have been much tougher. But we're doing so well that we're pushing through it. But it makes it very hard for people to get mortgages because too late is too late. Very simple. He's too late. And probably political, whatever. He wasn't too late before the election. Before the election, he was cutting rates, right? Because he was hoping that, I guess, Biden would get in or that Kamala would. He was a big Biden guy. Explain that one. And then he was a Kamala person. But he was hoping, I guess, she'd win, I guess. I don't know. It didn't work out too well. But, yeah, we need a very serious cut. You know, I think that if you look back many decades ago, the United States was always the lowest. Even if they were doing badly, the United States was, because without the United States, everything in the world would die. It's true. It's so powerful. It's so big. And I made it really big in the first 4 years. Then it started to degenerate with what this Biden administration did. But we built it up to a level that I never thought we could be at this quickly. We're the hottest, we're the best financially. The money coming in is so big because of tariffs and other things, but because of tariffs. Tariff gets us even those other things. Plus, it gets us great negotiating. I settled 7 wars, and numerous of those wars were because of trade, and numerous of the trade deals that I made were because of tariffs. It gives you a great negotiating ability. If that ability were taken away from us by a liberal court acting on essentially foreign nations asking to get help from the United States government, when they've been doing this to us for 40 years, that's why we have $38 trillion in debt. We won't have it for long if they let us, if they allow us to do what everybody knows we should be able to do. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, another Biden-era action that you're now reversing is that you signed a deal last week to make federal buildings adopt and embrace classical architecture styles again. Can you talk to us about why you do that, and also what's your vision?
Well, we want to see beautiful buildings. Now, you know, it's in the eye of the beholder. I've seen architectural reviews over the years. I'm an expert at it. I've gotten a lot of great reviews. But I've seen buildings that I didn't think were very good get great reviews, and I've seen great buildings get bad reviews. So, but it's just a standard. We want to have a good standard. We're building something here, you know, for 150 years they wanted a ballroom at the White House. We're doing something at the highest level using great architects and all. And, you know, it's very exciting. But we have a lot of interesting things happening architecturally in D.C. And D.C. is like a different place. And, you know, even the contractor said, sir, we walked down today, we feel like much safer. It's like a different place. Washington, D.C. is great. Now, we're going to also beautify it. We're going to put a topping on the roads. We're not going to rip them apart and take 4 years to build a road that was exactly the same by the time you build it. But we're going to put toppings. We're going to put new medians in. We're going to get the graffiti off. We're going to put tiles up in the tunnels where the tiles are missing. We'll do the whole tunnel instead of, you know, a little area where you see new tiles, old tiles that never look too good, but they could use it. You know, they've been up for 50 years. They've served their duty. But we're going to make this within about a 20-mile radius from the White House. We're going to have this place spick and span. It's going to be crime-free, and it's going to be spick and span. It's going to be, you'll be proud of Washington again. Go ahead, please.
Sir, China's having a massive military parade that President Putin and Kim Jong-un will be attending. Do you interpret that as a challenge to this? And are you concerned at all about those countries trying to be some sort of counterweight?
Not at all. China needs us, and I have a very good relationship with President Xi, as you know, but China needs us much more than we need them. No, I don't see that at all, no. And I had actually a very good meeting with President Putin a couple of weeks ago. We'll see if anything comes out of it. If it doesn't, we'll take a different stance.
Everyone March today in California ruled that your deployment of National Guard troops to Los Angeles was illegal. Do you have any response?
Well, it was a radical left judge. But very importantly, what did you not tell me in that question or statement that you made? Pretty much of a statement, I think.
Well, I was asking for your response.
No, you didn't say what the judge said, though. The judge said, but you can leave the 300 people that you already have in place. They can continue to be in place. That's all we need. But why didn't you put that as part of your statement? Because the same judge ruled exactly as you said, except the judge said that you can leave the 300 people that you already have in place. They can stay, they can remain, they can do what they have to do. Thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, press. Thank you. Thank you. Let's head out. Let's go, guys. Thank you. Thank you, press.
Well, congratulations to the heart of Dixie, the Cotton State, the Yellowhammer State, Alabama, to have that rocket center right in Huntsville, a home to space exploration for a long time, and a major announcement on this day with the Alabama delegation, including Senator Tommy Tuberville, the coach, longtime coach of Auburn University, and the Tigers, and Katie Britt, the United States Senators, and congressmen on hand for that announcement. And then, of course, the press conference to follow, which President Trump, the most accessible president in the modern era, on a whole host of different topics. And then that
Look at this. Hang on a moment here. Hang on a moment here. We got big news going on. Big breaking news. Let me get it on the screen for you. Breaking news happening. Breaking news. Here we go. Marco Rubio confirms that, as President Trump just announced moments ago, today the U.S. military conducted a lethal strike in the southern Caribbean against a drug vessel which had departed from Venezuela and was being operated by a designated narco-terrorist organization. And President Trump said in his, President Trump said that in the appearance, he said the U.S. had shot out this boat, shot out the boat. Now, are we going to hear more about this today? I mean, are we going to get more details? This is really big news. Trump said that the U.S. shot out a vessel from Venezuela carrying a drug boat. Marco Rubio confirmed, Secretary of State Rubio. That someone so unforgettable thinks that remember, the U.S. has been putting into place this very sizable naval force near Venezuela. There's speculation.
Running retail today takes more than instinct. Consumer Edge empowers leading retailers with real-time benchmarking at every level. That's why retailers rely on Consumer Edge's real-time data and insights. See what your business could do with the right edge. Consumer Edge.
There's speculation in that they might end up taking some action against President Maduro because the U.S. has said that the Trump administration has said that President Maduro of Venezuela is the head of a major cartel, a cartel they call a terrorist organization. And they say he's the head of it. And just in the last few weeks, I think it was, the U.S. increased the reward for information leading to the arrest or something of Maduro to $50 million. I'll show you that. Right here, look. I have it for you right here. If I can get this on the screen here. Oh no, that's the old one. That's 25 million. There's a newer one. That's 50 million. Arrest and or conviction. Where's the new one? Here's the statement, by the way. Reward offer increase of up to $50 million for information leading to the arrest and or conviction of Nicolas Maduro. And this is where Marco Rubio said, Department of State, Maduro has been a leader of Cartel de los Soles, which is responsible for trafficking drugs into the United States. On July 25th of this year, the U.S.